I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody...
A shocking video surfaced and immediately shook fans' hearts. In a short video leaked to social media, Kim Taehyung was seen standing backstage at Jhope's solo concert, tears streaming down his face. The moment wasn't part of a performance. There were no official camera shots, no prepared script. He simply stood behind the scenes, wearing a simple hoodie and a barely concealed expression. This was a side of Taehyung rarely seen, a vulnerable, human side. The video was secretly recorded by someone from internal staff, and somehow, the emotional footage began to spread. The public, initially shocked, was now swept up in the same feelings, emotion and deep empathy. Taehyung was seen staring at the stage, where Jhope was enthusiastically greeting thousands of spectators. But behind his friend's smile, there was an emotion he couldn't contain. He covered his mouth for a moment, as if trying to suppress a sob that threatened to break out. His tears weren't a sign of weakness. Instead, they were the source of a strength that had been hidden for so long. Because only those who truly care can cry silently, when the spotlight isn't on them. No words were spoken. Only his shoulders trembled slightly, and his hands clenched. He wasn't seeking attention. He was simply being honest with himself, unaware that the world was finally witnessing that moment. Many fans speculated that the tears weren't only due to emotion over Jhope's achievement, but also due to the stress and emotional exhaustion he'd been keeping to himself. Taehyung is known for keeping his wounds hidden. That moment, short and simple, shook the entertainment world. He wasn't on stage, but behind the scenes, showing his true essence as a human being, not as an idol who always has to be strong. The public reaction was swift. Armies from around the world flooded social media with messages of support, sending love and virtual hugs to V. Many wrote that they had no idea how heavy a burden Taehyung had been carrying all this time alone. The video wasn't ordinary footage. It captured something deeper than just tears. He captured a rarely seen burden, an unshared sadness, and a genuine sincerity. Several fans who attended the concert revealed they didn't realize the moment was happening. Taehyung was indeed very calm, even when greeting fans backstage after the concert. But now, after the video surfaced, the pieces began to fall into place. He wasn't just a friend, but a brother whose emotions were deeply connected to his teammates. Jhope, in several previous interviews, had mentioned that Taehyung was someone who observes more than he speaks. Now, the public finally understood what he meant. He cried not because of weakness, but because of great love. And it was all the more painful, because when you love deeply, small wounds can feel incredibly sharp, especially when you're holding them in private. Some music critics have also begun to highlight how artists like Taehyung often appear fine in front of the camera, when in reality, it's not that easy. The pressure to remain cheerful and perfect is a burden that isn't always visible. Despite this, there was no official statement from HYBE regarding the video. The company remained silent, allowing the narrative to develop on its own. This has led the public to question the agency's true commitment to its artists' well-being. Taehyung, on the other hand, remained silent. He offered no clarification, no denial. As usual, he let the moment speak for itself. Because for someone like him, words are often less honest than tears. Fans didn't ask for an explanation. They simply wanted Taehyung to know that he wasn't alone. That even though he'd appeared strong all this time, it was okay to cry sometimes. It was okay to feel tired sometimes. In the footage, what was most touching wasn't just his tears, but how he managed to remain calm afterward. He caught his breath, looked back at the stage, and finally smiled a small smile. A smile only those who know how to love silently can create. Now, the public was beginning to see a different side of Taehyung. Not just a singer, not just a celebrity, but a genuine and loving human being. And precisely because of that, their affection for him grew even stronger. International media outlets began highlighting the recording as a topic of discussion about the often unseen mental stress hidden behind the glitz and glamour of South Korean entertainment. Taehyung's name became a new symbol of the courage to be honest with oneself. In no time, the video went viral. But this time, it wasn't because of the sensation, but because of the touching silence. It served as a reminder to many that crying isn't weakness, but rather a sign of sensitivity. ARMY called the moment an emotional turning point that made them feel even closer to Taehyung. Not just because he was sad, but because he dared to be vulnerable. Behind his immense fame, there's a touchy heart, a gentle soul, and feelings that can't always be protected by the big stage. And that's precisely what makes Taehyung so special. Many hope he'll find a safer space in the future. A space where he can feel at ease, without having to hide his feelings. A space where he can be fully Kim Taehyung, not just BTS's V. Perhaps the video was never meant to be shared. But once the world saw it, it became a symbol that even the seemingly strongest can get hurt, and that doesn't make them weaker, just more real. Amidst all the fame and spotlight, this is perhaps one of Taehyung's most honest moments. And from that honesty, true love grows. A love that doesn't require a stage, just understanding. Taehyung didn't sell his tears. But the public chose to appreciate them. Because he demonstrated something rarer than a perfect performance, humanity. And in a world increasingly filled with pressure and image, it's moments like these that will be remembered forever. When a star shines brightest behind the scenes, with tears as their witness. That moment has become a major reflection for fans, especially those who have only seen the glamorous side of idols. Taehyung showed that even in a world full of the spotlight, there are unavoidable quiet spaces. Some fans have started digital campaigns highlighting the importance of mental health for artists, citing Taehyung's moment as a clear example that attention to emotional well-being should not be overlooked. They remind us that tears shed off stage are not weakness, but a reflection of the immense love and burden an artist carries within. And Taehyung, with all his sensitivity, has shown the most honest side of that. Jhope himself has not commented on the incident, but many fans believe their relationship is more than just professional. There's a brotherly bond between them that's too deep to describe in words. In that silence, one thing became clear: Taehyung wasn't crying alone. The world saw, felt, and now stands with him. Not as a perfect idol, but as a human being who dares to feel. After the video went viral, the mood among armies around the world changed. It wasn't just a buzz, but a deep silence. Many said they couldn't watch the footage without feeling a tightness in their chests. Comments flooded social media. It wasn't anger that dominated, but support, and a desire to hug Taehyung, even if only through words. They knew that behind his gentle smile, there were feelings that had likely been hidden for a long time. Some longtime fans even said this was the side of Taehyung they had loved from the beginning, a sensitive, compassionate person who rarely showed himself in distress. He always preferred to make others comfortable, even if it meant enduring his own sadness. Now, with that moment out in the open, the public felt like they were being allowed to truly know him. Not as a superstar, but as a young man navigating a life that wasn't always easy behind all the praise and accomplishments. And in that unintentional honesty, Taehyung taught the world one important thing: being fully human is never wrong, even if it means crying in the dark, while all eyes are on the light. Every frame of that footage has now become a piece of history cherished in the hearts of many. They replay it not to nurse their grief, but to remember that even someone as strong as Taehyung needs a hug that isn't visible on camera. Some say those tears are a form of love. Love for a friend, for the stage, for the long journey they've been on together. And perhaps also, love for himself, which he's been holding back to avoid appearing vulnerable. On online forums, fans share stories of moments when they felt like Taehyung, standing alone in a corner, holding in their burdens, hoping someone would understand. His presence makes many feel less alone. Without realizing it, that short video had opened a space for global empathy. Not just for him, but also for those who had been hiding their tears behind smiles. Taehyung said nothing, but his presence became a voice for the silent ones. And perhaps that's why he's so loved. Not just for his voice, his looks, or his fame, but because he lived honestly, without hiding that being human is the bravest thing one can do, especially when everyone demands perfection.
In the world blind, please Lord give me a sign, a sign.